Hello and welcome to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother, and we're back with another amazing interview with a super dope entrepreneur and creative. This wonderful person is a really great friend of mine, and one of the reasons why the Let's Glow Show is even in existence today, I want to introduce JB. Welcome to the Let's Glow Show.
What's up, Amanda? Like, oh my God, literally, I didn't know that I was the reason for the show, so that's crazy news to me. Hey, y'all.
We're going to get into all that. But before we do that, tell us who you are and what you do.
Oh my God. All right, cool. Yeah, so literally, I am JB. I am a full-time entrepreneur. I've been in business now for 5 years, but I've been doing what I do like forever now since I was 15. So I started a personal executive assistant service company, which grew into me doing more and more and more and more and more, including event producing. And so my business is a business and event company that specializes in like planning, organizing, and just executing various types of like events and just functions for either individuals, businesses, or organizations. And so we offer just a wide range of services to create memorable experiences and allow our clients to be successful in whatever we support them in. So we're B2C type of company and also B2B, and so again, it's specialized services and just solutions to assist other businesses improving their operations, achieving their goals, and really just addressing specific needs that they want. And my motto is like, get you a JB, because literally, you get me on your side, like you're gonna grow. And so, I started my brand because I just love people. I love helping. I love supporting, and that's my mission. Like I grew up in a more spiritual background, and so it was led that hey, you got to be salt of the earth. Like you got to give people you, and so this is my way of giving people me. Like so that's what I've been doing for the last few years, and it's been a ride and a journey, but amazing, like amazing. Like and through that, I met you.
I know. I can't
So,
remember how we originally met. I'm sure it was through Bamboo.
yes, yeah.
Was it Michigan Fashion Week?
So, yep. It's because I am also a part of Michigan Fashion Week. Now, I'm actually executive producing the 2024 showcase. And so we met there, and then it just blossomed into our own individual relationship and rapport. And, but yeah, that's how we met. And it's like we can't get rid of each other.
I know, it's so good. It's so good. I really was, and I told you this before,
Mm-hmm.
I'm an event planner. I've been planning events professionally for 10 years, but socially, like probably 15 or more years.
Yeah.
And when I hosted the streetwear show for Michigan Fashion Week, I was so impressed by you. Like, I've worked with and on a lot of events. I've emceed for a lot of events. I've spoken for a lot of events. And you as an event coordinator and just backstage support were just so impressive. Like you kept it cool, you were so respectful, you were kind, you were lighthearted, but also getting shit done. And like it was so awesome to see. And being on the reciprocal side of that, I was like, I need to emulate JB more. Like when I'm executive of an event or, and I'm always like trying to pick things from people that I see and respect and implement it in some way. And like, I will never ever forget how you made me feel when I was backstage. Like it was so great.
Really? Wait. So what happened?
It was nothing like crazy. It was, you were attentive to my needs. Every time you saw me, you acknowledged me, asked me if I needed anything. You were lighthearted. A lot of times in events, it could be stressful, as you know, especially with people that are executing events. Stress is a real participant in event coordination.
Yeah.
Like it is something that's in the air, and really, really good event coordinators are good at mellowing it out.
Yeah.
And really good producers are good at like just making sure all is well.
It's so funny that you actually said it, because it reminds me of, so I was in DC working at an event for the United States Black Chamber of Commerce, actually. And there was another producer that was on the team, the national team. and she actually worked for a larger sports and commercial company. So she did a lot of like producing events globally. Like she's the vice president of this company. And one of the comments that she made was, in part of what you just said, but she said that she brought me on because I actually did 2 Super Bowl events. And she brought me on to that personally, just the only person from the team, because she was like, there was something that happened during one of the meetings that someone said something to you and you really could have took it very personally, but you did not. And then you kept going and you just executed. And for me, just like what you're saying, you know what? I don't know. I believe in getting things done and still being true to myself. Like I operate my business with full integrity and just me. Like you're getting me. My brand is called Your JB, right?
Exactly.
So that meant so much to me. So full circle moment for you to come back and say that. Like I really appreciate it. Like ultimately, in my world, in my view, I am human, but disruptions aren't always distractions. And they try to come as distractions now, but they're not. There's opportunity within some disruptions, and so if you allow a disruption to be a distraction, you won't be successful at, getting what you need to do done. And so when it comes down to, events, like, yeah, there's a thing called brand attrition and event attrition. And so at the end of the day, if I'm working for either myself or for a client, my thing is that I really never want anyone to come back and say like, oh, well, you know what? I had this one small or great negative experience because of that guy over there with the glasses,
Right.
I don't want that. I don't ever want that. No matter how big I grow, so thank you.
Yes. Speaking of disruptions and distractions, it's frozen on my end.
Okay, no, so it is. It seems like you're frozen, but I'm just keep going. Like
Yes. Just a second. Oh, here we go.
I see you.
Okay, we back.
Good morning.
We back. This is how event planners do. This is how producers do. We get back. We,
keep it going. As long as I didn't get no message to say stop saying something, like I'm keeping it going. Like we on camera.
We're gonna keep it going, and it's all good. That's what we love editing and technology for, because we could just snip that out.
Yeah.
But if we do have to snip it out, I just want to reiterate that. Like, I just want to go back and just iron over that one more time. Like, as a really good event planner, you have to be able to go with the flow. And I say this a lot. You have to be like water. And I don't always mean like liquid water, because sometimes water can flow.
Yeah.
Sometimes water is a solid. Sometimes water is a gas and it just needs to step away. And water is very powerful, can give life and take life.
Yeah.
So as a coordinator or an experienced coordinator or a project lead or a manager, you have to be able to know what element you need to be in based on the situation. So we're going to reiterate it one more time. Like, why do you feel it's so important to invest all of your energy when you're producing events in a positive light and a focused light?
Yeah, so I believe in investing all of my energy when it comes down to producing an event, being a part of an event, whether it's red carpet management or whether it's actually producing and actually working and making sure all the functions of the actual event go smoothly and having my hand within it. Because like I operate my business with full integrity. And I'm a joyful person. I'm a positive person. Like I want to try to be some type of light from, in anyone's day. And so whether I'm in a, Zen type of environment or a stressful type of environment, I still want to be consistent to who I am. And that's very, very important. Like, for me, again, like disruptions aren't always distractions, because there's opportunity within disruption. And so if you allow a disruption to be a distraction, then you won't succeed. And, ultimately it becomes of development personally, and professionally. And so I learned just early on, like, okay, you got to keep it going. You got to keep it going. You got to keep it going. Like, again, kind of reaching back to like my upbringing, like when you're in front of like an audience of people, you gotta keep going. If something messes up, particularly if you in church and somebody didn't hit a note right, you got to keep it going, acting like they sung it right, and even though
yeah,
you didn't hear that. Like, no, I heard that squeak. Like, but same thing for me when it comes down to a professional side, especially for events. Like when you work like these, mid-sized to large events, man, there's a lot of different personalities. There's a lot of different cultures. There's just a lot of different differences in everything and everyone. And ultimately, I feel like a lot of people experience that when they come to these types of events or these level of events. But sometimes they're just looking for just a personable person. And I always want to be that, no matter what level I am. Now, I do feel like some people, take advantage of that, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, I have to be me. My business is your JB. You're getting me, And so even my friends be like, we don't have to be as structured, or timely about it. But I am, even if I'm, late. Like I know that. Okay, I got 2 more minutes to be here. I met with some friends the other day. Our lunch meeting was at 3:30. I showed up right at 3:30. But they was hitting me up like at 3:25, like, oh, you're late. I'm like, no, I'm here. No. But yeah, that's me. And I appreciate you saying that. Like,
yes. I want to give you your flowers because I feel like we need to do that more.
Yeah.
And I cannot get it out of my brain. Like, and every time I see you, I think about it. And I want to go down the events path a little bit more for just a little bit because I feel like I don't see a lot of event professionals sharing their experience. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, I guess you could go to school for event planning. I guess you could get like a project management professional certification, or there's a couple other ones out there, but it's very like corporate structure. When it comes to like entertainment, media, conferences, galas, there's not really like school for that, at least that I know of. And so like, how did you get your start? And what are some of the lessons that you learned along the way that you wish you would have known?
Yeah, so I have to say that my official start was when I was 15. And so there was a community event, a concert featuring the amazing Bunny DeBarge, where from DeBarge family, where I'm like, this is one of my first experiences of working with like a celebrity guest, and that's where I started, putting that concert together, like from a logistics standpoint. And my goddad, he was like, "Oh, you just gotta do it because I'm busy." So that's where it is. So I had to figure a lot of stuff, and I had, a very good friend of mine. Her name is Kelly, and she was just like an administrative guru. So she supported and helped me along the way. Some things I took lead on, some things that she allowed me to take lead on, but it was really like, okay, well, you're putting this together. And so when it comes down to, hospitality, VIP relations within, events, when it comes down to like, security, the AV team, how everything is going to flow. I got my first like insight during that when I was like 15. And so ever since then, I just kind of moved up the ranks. Every time something would happen or people want me to do something, then I'm there. I'm producing, I'm helping. Again, it's because I love to, help people, and I love to have organizations. I'm an operations person. So whether I'm helping you on a assistant side, a project management side, or an event side, like I am all thinking about all things operations, and that's what an event producer is. Like they are not just necessarily coordinating or planning the event; they're making sure everything runs smoothly in all different areas, and that's where my mind is, and it happens. And so, since then, I've just been a lot blessed to be in a lot of different events. Again, last year was the second Super Bowl event that I did. Again, I worked with the United States Black Chamber of Commerce. I was somewhere, and this lady, to your point, and I'm humble. Literally, when people say this, like I'm just so humble when I hear it. But I was somewhere random, and this lady walked up to me. She was just like, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, I
Yeah.
didn't remember who she was. And she was like, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much again." So, long story short, I was a part of the production team for Kanye West's Sunday service when it came to Detroit by way of a friend and being on her team. And so there was a discrepancy that happened with this girl, and literally, I guess I just came and saw the show, and she remembered that, and I never even remember who she was. But to that point, also, sometimes I don't even remember what I did. Like literally, some of the influencers that I work with, the celebrities, the local business people, nonprofits, like out of these last 5 years, I've tremendously been afforded the opportunity to be into rooms and spaces and just to really grow. But yeah, that's where I started. 15 community choir concert. And since then, I've worked larger concerts for Grammy Award winners, conferences for those influencers. I've been to an influencer conference, such as Playlist Live, a couple Google events, YouTube events. And so that's where I've been.
Oh, we got someone. Oh, Lauren. Morning, Lauren.
Oh, hey. Michigan Fashion Week.
Yes.
It's
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so proud of you, JB. That's really so like I said, I'm impressed by you. And it's not an easy thing to come by because there is no education that's like formally around it. But people don't tell you. I feel like you have to learn it on the job. Like they don't tell you that every single person is a VIP, even though there's a VIP list. That AV person is a VIP person.
Yeah.
That security person is a VIP person. The janitor is VIP. Every single person that's participating in these events to make it smooth for the user is a VIP. Each one of them is having their own experience. And that's why I was so impressed by you, because I saw your presence with everyone. Like you moved from me, you were doing the thing. And I was just so proud, and it just was a breath of fresh air to see.
Thank you.
Like not everybody knows that, and it's not taught that every piece is important, every person has value. And that took time for me to learn too. I mean, I can't even remember what my first event that I had control over was when I was in a sorority in college, and I was thrusted in to the fundraiser chair position because half of the sorority graduated and we pledged, crossed over, and then there was 9 of us left, and there was 9 leadership positions. So it was like all of us were like, we have no idea what we're doing, but you're this one. You're gonna be the fundraiser.
I feel you.
It was thrusted upon me. But even before that, my mom is a huge events person. She's the hostess with the mostest. She's always throwing parties. And so watching her my whole life, and my mom is a beautiful event planner, but on the backside of it, when she's managing the events, she would be like, you guys got to clean everything. You got to do this. You got to do that. And so that's when I started into my event journey on my own as a business. I noticed that I would get short with the people that were helping me. And my husband, LeBrie Jones, bless his soul, he humbled me in the best way. I remember it was one of our first or second clothing swaps for the revamp. And I had asked him to do something. Mind you, I had been in management in restaurants for 6+ years at this point, and hosting events and doing all this stuff. And LeBrie stops me and goes, listen, I love you. I'm here to help you. And I would love to help you all day long. But if I was your employee, I would quit. And I'm not. And I'm volunteering my time for you. And you have to talk to me differently. And I was like, I'm so sorry. But it was one of those moments that was it changed everything. It changed everything for me. It was the first time somebody was like, you're being an ass. First of all. And I don't like the way that you're talking to me. And it made me think, if I am willing to talk to my husband this way, who's helping me out of the kindness of his heart, how am I talking to everybody else? There's got to be something that's happening that I don't like. It's in my blind spot. And I was so grateful for him. Even in that moment, I was like, thank you for telling me. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. And it's forever now something like I'm looking in all the mirrors. I'm like, what is the tone? What is the undertone? How am I asking? Am I saying please and thank you? Am I giving everybody the time of day that they need? Because really, that's my job as the execution person.
That's so incredible that you mentioned that. I actually have a similar story. So when I was in a relationship with, they're incredible creative, and we may go down that love route, right? But I had the same experience. Like now, I'm working in my business. I do this like internationally, right? And I was working their event, and the same thing. I felt like I was a piece of crap, and everyone else did too, because they were like like kind of control freak. And I wouldn't say that it's not something that they've now become better at, but like I have to pull to the side. I'm like, listen, like you're being a monster right now. Now, unfortunately, and in that space, like my ex was just like, basically, I don't really care what you're saying. So I ended up leaving. Actually, like that was the first big argument that we had, and I was just like, and I did feel bad because it's like I don't want you to feel like I'm gonna give up, but ultimately, like I'm still new. Like we ain't committed to each other. Like I'm just trying to figure it out.
Even if you were,
yeah, like just totally a monster. But then for me, as this is a nugget, and I write things down that I hear, to the point is entrepreneurs. That's a difference in my mind versus working people. There's nothing wrong with working employed people, right? But entrepreneurs typically, they're in a mindset of being responsible for outcomes. And so one of the things that, and that's just one of the default like insights that I try to live with when working on anything. Like if I'm responsible for this event, I'm responsible for a lot of just different things, then okay, well then I have to make sure that whatever outcome it's got to be pleasurable, successful, and really kind when it comes to the end. Like I have to make sure that my input has a positive output. And when you have those levels of like mental reflections, it just shows what path you're walking on. A lot of times you don't necessarily see that. Personally, a lot of times I'm just really being me, but it does tap into other people. And now I'm becoming more cognizant of it, just like you said. Like when people tell you things like, okay, and yeah, again, within the event space, you can try to go to school for it. But my journey, I'm like a lot of terminology. That's just being on the ground.
Exactly.
Working. Like there was a like millennial type of conference that was at Atlanta, and was one of my brand's like biggest portfolio like events. I technically worked that event. Like I flew myself down. I said I want to volunteer for this, and then out came me working with the United States Black Chamber of Commerce, me doing my Super Bowl events. Like that's something that like I put myself out to do, and I don't know. Like you just got to be on the ground working to try to do what you have to do, for the success of your future. And a lot of things aren't taught, they're caught. And so as long as you're in the space, as long as you have a willingness to learn and be open-minded, you'll be successful for sure.
I love that. Say that one more time for the people in the back.
For the people in the back, I think the part you were mentioning, like a lot of things aren't taught, they're caught. And so at the end of the day, like, if you're at a huge event, something's on the floor, like pick it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you do something as small as pick up a piece of paper when you're working an event, or just even in an office setting, it just brings that much more success to the brand, to who you're working for. things like that. And then it just really teaches you to build more character professionally and personally. And then people are going to rely and trust that you can get it done for them. Like there's a lot of different things that I've seen in the background for, higher ups that I will never speak of because, at the end of the day, people are still human, right? But that's why also a lot of people trust me.
Yeah. And if I'm someone who's going to hire an event planner and I'm spending time with you in space outside of that particular event, and I see you're noticing details like picking up a piece of garbage off the floor, I'm going to know that your awareness of the space is heightened, which is what I'm looking for as someone that's looking to hire an event producer. Like you're aware of the presentation, you're taking action to fix it so that it appears in the way that it needs to appear. And so like for those of us that, I wish when I was, because I started hosting hip hop shows and emceeing those and executing those. Yeah, literally for a couple of reasons. The reasons why was because I was going to all these hip hop shows and going to these events and noticing, one, there's no space for women in hip hop in Detroit at the time. It felt like there was several women that were like leading the charge, but on the general playing field, there wasn't a lot of space. And I was constantly showing up to these shows and I'm like, there's no chairs for us. There's no toilet paper. There's no doors on the bathroom. There's no event for us. Like, not that I'm a rapper, but I saw all the female rappers there and I'm like, somebody just needs to speak up and host it.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah.
And it was those little details. I'm like, oh, we need chairs and we need bottles of water and we need a snack bar and we need toilet paper in the back stock, and we need to figure out a curtain situation for the bathrooms so that people's experience is exciting. But it was me going to those events and seeing what wasn't thought about for the women that made me want to host like female-led events. I was like, these guys aren't thinking about the girls. They don't care if they have to change their, whatever the case may be. But I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
Because what if I need to do it? And if I care, they all care. And so that's that, like the thought and care that events take. And so as a young person coming into the event space and wanting to host their first event, what advice do you have for them?
So my thing is that you have to be true to yourself, like, and be real with yourself. Like, can you handle people? Can you handle different personalities? Are you organized? Do you have like an operations type of mindset? Because ultimately, like, you may come on to an event for one job, but you got to be open for others, right? So are you open-minded? Do you have a willingness to execute? And it's, I feel like for me, in terms of like whatever I am brought on board for, AKA hired or contracted for, like, I bring all of my experiences in whatever industry that like I've worked in, whatever job that I've done, to that client, right? And me being a creative strategist in a sense where like, okay, well, how I'm able to execute, this is a nugget. How I'm able to execute is because like I'm creative and getting things done. You have to be a creative strategist to actually get things done, because at the end of the day, if you only have 5 minutes left for something to be turned in, like, okay, how are we going to get this, done within these 5 minutes? And you have to make executive decisions on spot. So ultimately, how you get into the space, be real with yourself. Like, okay, well, can I handle different personalities? Do I have a willingness to learn? Do I have a willingness to, be a part of all the parts, all the moving parts?
Mm-hmm.
And can I pivot? Can I be creative and quick on my feet in terms of like thought and action to actually get something done, and that may need to happen within a moment's time. So those are the things that like you have to do. And I think the biggest thing is that like you have to be trustworthy. Another part of me is that like I actually again operate me, integrity, your JB, you're getting me, which is like for me, I do my absolute best to do for others what I want others to do for me. Sometimes it is, I'm not successful at it. Most of the time, I'm not successful. Like people just don't be, right? But you got to still be who you are, right? So I'm saying, have a trustworthiness about you, whether someone is looking or not. Like, because when you go into these things, like, listen, you have, there's something going on mentally, the visions that I'm seeing or visuals, I should say, like, man, these bigger conferences, it's so much good stuff there. These products, all this, snacks. I'm a snack king. I love to eat. Like, that personally, like one of the ways to try to get me is so like, I'm like, oh my God, I got access to all this other stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, you still have to have a trustworthiness about you, whether someone is looking or not to take it. Like, and a lot of this, oh my God, literally. And a lot of that, comes from just who you are. Like you have to be trustworthy. And again, so my brand is not just about brand curation and producing, but I do have a side of like supporting personally on executive level. So I do like project management things just for anyone that wants a supporting hand. But again, when you go and help someone, one of the biggest things that they look for is like, can I trust this individual? Mm-hmm. Can I trust them? If I am, an influencer and I'm chastising or disciplining my child, would that be on the blogs later? Like, oh, I saw, X, Y, Z. Like one of the things, the biggest things is just being trustworthy and being confidential with, what you may or may not see. Like, if I see a gospel artist, use profanity, like I can't be up there saying like, oh my God, like,
yes,
you just cursed. Like, gotta roll with the punches because everybody is still human, and so have a level of trustworthiness too. Like, don't waste people's time, man.
I heard a couple things, definitely like leading with integrity and being trustworthy. But there's a couple other things that I heard is that you have to be in event space to learn how to execute events or work on projects to learn about how to be a project manager. And that's a lot of the way that I got started. I just volunteered for stuff. Mm-hmm. Not saying that people need to volunteer, but the only way I could really learn about events was to say, I'll help you with your event.
Yeah.
And work behind somebody like you doing whatever they asked me to do, like set up this, break down this, go grab that, and seeing the way that people's brain works in that scenario. So when it comes to events or project management, like, again, you can go to school to be a project manager.
Yeah.
You will not learn how to be a project manager until you manage projects.
Exactly. Like, but
that's a real thing. Like there are other technical industries like being an engineer or being a doctor or being a lawyer where it makes sense to go to school. And I'm not saying that going to school is not the way to go. But what I am saying is if you want to be a project manager, get a business degree or get something that's like a little bit more well-rounded so that it supports that activity, and then intern or volunteer with people that are doing it so that they can go, JB, why did you make that executive decision? Where did that come from? Like, how did you make, like, watching people make quick decisions on the fly? It's very interesting to watch, especially if you're paying attention and you're trying to learn from that person. Yeah. I remember one of the first events. So I was a corporate event planner in my previous role, and I was hosting galas and conferences and workshops and awards shows. And I remember the first one that I was given the leeway to hold the budget for and do all the catering and lock in the venue. It was like the first one that was like, everybody was hands off. It was all me. And I made a huge mistake that we didn't learn about until the day before the event. I'm on a call with the venue. It's like less than 24 hours before the event. It was like 5 p.m. and we were going to be there at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And she was like, we're going to be there at X time and the food is going to be out at 6. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's a lunch. Why is the food going to be out at 6 a.m.? She's like, no, it's a breakfast. Look at the contract. You signed up for a breakfast. And I was like, ooh. Oh, crap. Like all of these people think they're coming for lunch. All of these people think that they're making breakfast. And I remember in that moment, my whole body, like I turned beet red. I could feel the heat. I was like, okay, give me just like a couple minutes. I'm going to talk to my team. I'll be right with you. And she was like, all right. Like, she was just like, that is not what's happening. So go figure it out.
Yeah, go figure it out.
Yeah. And I remember my boss was sitting next to me because she heard me having this conversation. She walked into my cube and she sat on my desk and she's like looking at me and like hearing the conversation, and she's seeing my like temperature rise. And I hang up the phone and she just looks at me and she's like, what are you going to do? And I was like,
yeah,
she's like, take a second, take a deep breath, let it out. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Tell us and we'll do it. And we started brainstorming. I was like, we'll make it a brunch. We'll start with the food. We'll add mimosas. We got a $5,000 fine to get them. It wasn't a fine. It was to get mimosas.
Yeah.
But we turned it from lunch to brunch. We added mimosas. We flipped the agenda just like by 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling terrified, feeling embarrassed, feeling scared, feeling nervous that we had to like tell everybody that we're now doing a brunch. And I remember we're walking in the hallway and we were like, go team, let's do it. And she stopped me in the hallway and she grabs me by the shoulders and she goes, let it go. Like, because if you focus on the failure, you're going to make more mistakes. Wow. And we cannot afford any more mistakes.
Yeah.
So just let it go and move on.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment where I'm like, nothing's that serious. Like, it can all work out.
Yeah.
It might cost a little money, but like, if you are focused on, oh my God, I messed up, then that's when other mistakes happen. Yeah. And I remember that being like a super huge moment for me as an event planner to be like, we're human. We mess up. And the only way to learn how to make executive decisions on the fly is to have to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. And you got to have a willingness to do it. And honestly, it's either going to make or break you. Like, to your point, like, if you didn't just figure out, like, whether it was about, like, oh, I don't want to lose my job or I just don't want to lose the respect. Like, once your boss came in and said, okay, well, what do you want to do? Like, you could have just been like, okay, well, I give up. So these things in life itself is just really going to make or break you. And so, you know, I've had experiences like that before. And, you know, but the thing that, as you were speaking, it was one of the things for me that I had to overcome was actually, you know, speaking with people and talking with people and networking. Like, I felt like, especially when I was younger, I would start to just kind of get heated, like sweat and stuff like that when I'm talking with people. And like, literally at one event, it was a concert actually when I was 15. Like, and I saw other celebrity guests coming in, and I'm just like, okay, oh my God, here it is. Like, I'm nervous. I don't really know these people. Like, what's gonna happen? So I just begin to like just sweat, and you can kind of see it. And my godmom walked over to me, and she was just like, "Hey, come here." And I was like, "Yeah, hey." And she was just like, "Yeah, we don't do that. Like, you know, you're okay. Everything is good. Go get yourself together in the bathroom, and you're here because you're supposed to be here. But we don't, you know, sweat under stress. So get it together." And I'm like, yes, we do. Like, duh. Like, but ultimately, like, I got the insight and information about what she was trying to say to get me together, you know, about it. And, you know, for me, I really never, especially because of my upbringing. And so a lot of, earlier you asked me a question about like, you know, how I got my start, but really like my mother is like, I felt like a hospitality queen. Like, my mom is even more nicer than me. Like, you know, a lot of people feel like I'm just nice. But last night I went to a restaurant and I was just by myself, and she was just like, "You're just so nice." And I'm like, "Lady, I haven't seen you forever." And I'm just thinking there's nicer people than me in the world. And that's one for my mom is, and she takes care of people. So since young, like, I grew up in a hospitable like environment that
Yeah.
allows me to not only put my professional with my personal, like it meshes. Like, I remember one time we were walking outside of a grocery store and this older lady, I felt like she was just moving so slow. Like, it's like, girl, hurry up. Like, I'm upset. I didn't get my Twizzlers that I want. Like,
Well,
come on. Like, no, this is go. And my mom grabbed me and she was like, you would never do that again. Like to anyone, especially a woman, and then especially someone elderly.
yeah.
And in that moment, I remember like, okay, that's a disciplining moment. And honestly, maybe I actually have to credit why I treat people the same in any different space because it was that moment where it's like, okay, no matter what you feel like, you have to be graceful when it comes down to other people. And so I do credit a lot of my hospitality, from my mom. Truly, truly,
That is
truly.
so sweet.
Yeah,
So sweet, but also you are also so kind in your own right, and it's not a kindness competition. But
that's
I do
fine.
that would be, I wish that would be the competition, like kindness, like who can be more kind versus like
Yeah,
other competition out there. But you are really so kind, and I see it with everybody that you interact with. I see you a lot, and I see you interacting with people a lot thanks to bamboo, and
yeah,
it's always a breath of fresh air. I
yeah.
am curious how because you had mentioned like keeping a light at being in events and keeping things hospitable and kind and being at a beautiful blend for your personal and professional. Like, how do you internally take care of yourself and keep that boundary like
Mm.
secure? Like, how do you show up so bright and positive all the time? Like, what are you doing to pour into yourself?
So within this last year, just because of a lot of things going on in life, I felt I've had to tap into more of myself to recalibrate emotionally, mentally, physically, professionally, because I fell off, and some of the things that I I've been doing is really centering like myself and what my values are. And I think that's something that others should do as well. Like it goes back to being real with who you are, knowing what you want out of life, and being positive and with yourself and being graceful with yourself and to yourself. And I feel like if I'm allowing and building myself up, then I can do that for other people. The boundaries that come about because I'm working and doing those things for myself comes organic because ultimately, like I know me now, right? Like I know me now, and if you're going to try to impede on that, then it's okay. Like you know, but ultimately, it's like I already know where some lines is going to have to be, drawn when it comes out of it. So I think being real with yourself, centering yourself, and valuing what you value, your pillars, because ultimately, who's going to be in your life for what you're about? They're going to come, and then you're going to see who isn't, and the people that are supposed to come and they are still there, they're supposed to stay. And those that left, they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And you have to come to a point um, where you're just real with yourself and allows you to be real with others. Maya Angelou is like, or Angelou, however people call her, like she was such an inspiration, just words that she would speak. And so another thing that I do is I really hone in on just me, the center of me. I grew up spiritually, so I listen to not only contemporary but some old school worship or praise music just to kind of center myself in the values that I've had and brought out. And then for me, then I also listen to other things that I feel like that's inspiring, like Maya Angelou, like, certain things that other people just say that's not even a space to say that, hey, I'm an inspirationist or I'm a philanthropist in my own right. It's just things that you just listen to and like, oh, wow. So one time she was doing an interview with Oprah and she was just like, there is a place that you have to keep pristine. Like, oh, I love that. Clean. And it's a place to where your no is no. If your no is no, say so. That's what she said.
I love that. I love it.
She's like, say so. Again, that's a part of you being real with you. And so that allows me to, set boundaries. And I'm an observer, just organically. I'm a people watcher, like, just, I don't know where that comes from. But I pay attention to how people treat me.
Yes.
And whether I'm nice or not, I pay attention. Whether you've been my friend for 20 years or 20 days, like I pay attention to that. And it tells me how you feel about me, what levels of respect you have for me, so on and so forth. So those are my two things, or recommendations, like being real with yourself, centering yourself, and that allow you to be real with others. But be graceful to yourself, because then that allow you to be graceful to other people, whether they get it or not, whether they're going to stay or not. So that's me. That's
I love that. That's so beautiful. If it's no, say so. Shout out to Maya Angelou. I love that. And I heard a rumor that you might go on personal dates.
I'm sorry?
I heard a rumor that you go on dates with yourself. Is that true?
Okay, so yes.
I love that if you do, because I also do the same.
Yeah, like I go to move. I was out last night by myself. I was just sharing with someone last night, like, yeah, for my birthday, like it was just outside of like the small event that I had, like, hey, it's just me, because I'm growing up, like I'm getting older, this world, you just never know, you can be here today, gone tomorrow. And time is precious, moments are precious, and I don't want to waste my time or my life and waste anyone else's either. That's very important. Like my motto, and it's still my motto for my business, is like, you get you and me, you'll never waste time twice again.
Ooh,
so
I love that.
Like, I don't want to waste your time, even on a personal level. Like, so I try to be very, very much so intentional when it comes down to associations, relationships, or anything like that. But and also too, like, I gotta set a standard, because you think you about to come over here, like, all right, well, I dine here, I do this on regular for myself. So what we about to do?
Right. We gotta step it up. You gotta be an add-on, in addition to. I love it. I think dating yourself is so important. I think it's lost on a lot of people, because it feels like it looks weird. It's like social or whatever. I remember when I first started dating myself, I started with the movies, and my mom would always say, like, are you meeting someone? Like, are you going to the movies? Are you meeting someone there? And I'm like, no, I'm going by myself. And she's like, why? Because I want to, but like eventually she caught on and she understood, and I was like, this is for me. Like I work hard for my money. I work hard on my free time and my busy time. I'm constantly working hard. And so I have to train myself to play hard too, and pour into me, so that I can be a light in the world. And like, I feel lately like I'm working through a lot. I'm working with a somatic life coach and a nutritionist right now, and we're getting really deep. We're hitting some like core root trauma challenges, and I feel drained. And I also sense myself feeling drained, like socially and professionally. And I'm like, I have to give myself that grace and know I am doing the hard work that it takes to move through trauma. It's challenging. And I also need to do the hard work to play, so I can pour back into myself and give back to myself, and all of that good stuff that comes with.
Yeah.
Loving on yourself, which is so important. And as somebody who's an event producer and a project manager, and you help so many people, you are your service and your product. And that's why you are so important, because without JB, there's no your JB, you know?
There's no your JB. And I got to try to, plan is to try to build some other JBs running around.
You will do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Same with me. Like, I am me. I'm Amanda Sweet. I'm the Creative Fairy Godmother. That is my business model. And so like, I have to make sure that I start with me, and I'm starting my services with me.
Yeah. And you have to honor and respect everyone with what they are, because like everyone is unique. No matter if they look the same, you still got different strands of hair on your head. And like, who is this person, how they show up, and how can I be, something to them or not, even if it's just, saying a hi, right? You got to, be in just a level of respecting others and being grateful to yourself and to others. And so like, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you're doing this. Like, ultimately you're looking good over there. Like I said, that's why she's married. Okay, got it. That's why she's married. Get this little back on, like, you got the ring on, like, that's because you're dating myself. So, look, hey, it's gonna happen for me. That's what I'm thinking. Hopefully, but
it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming, and when the right time, it will. But ultimately, definitely very much so excited for you. Since I met you, it's like you definitely have this drive, and you're unapologetic when it comes down to who you are, and again, that's you being real with yourself and allowing others to have access to that. Is people don't understand when you have access to someone, it is very honorable. And so if you allow people to step into your space of creativity, of freedom, of like literally just being their best selves, and like I appreciate that. So like for me, I wouldn't change the Creative Fairy Godmother, because like you allow people to tap into that if they want to, right? Like, and you give them that space and that freedom. So like I appreciate that, like so much so. Like I have a creative side of me. I am a logistics, operations, like working type of person, but I also love to have fun. Like
That's an art though. Logistics, execution, people, events, that is an art.
Yeah.
I did a lot. I was like, people are my art form.
Yeah.
Like that is how I express myself. Organizing people, making stuff move. Chad said it last week in the Let's Glow show in his interview.
Yeah.
His goal is to get people to move.
Yeah.
And that's an art form.
Yeah.
And you're good at doing that.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. That's creative. You are an artist.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And shout out to Chad. He's an
That's a Chad.
Literally, like marketing guru and just individual. And I can see that with his personality. Like, and so I too, just feel that way about you. And again, like this Creative Fairy Godmother, I would not change that at all.
You tat on my forehead.
Child, listen, like you gotta do what you gotta do to make someone know like who you are. Like this is me, the CFG. Oh my God, like I didn't even know I was a rapper. Like this is me. Like I'm spitting bars out here. Listen, like so, yeah, no, this is just great. Like I feel 2024 is going to be just even more incredible. Like we're about to walk into some things that we just didn't even realize that we're, maybe imagine, but I think the unimaginable is gonna, come to fruition for 2024. Like that is the prayer, the energy, the affirmation that I'm putting out for you and everyone that's looking on this live. Like you got what it takes to get things done. You got what it takes to be your best selves. And so like, if you accept that power, you accept that affirmation for yourself, then you'll be that. Like, and just you got to walk into it, to grow yourself.
I accept that 100%, and I mirror that right back at you. And I'm really, really grateful for you, JB. I know you're not a morning person, and so I'm really grateful that you scheduled time with me today. I am so grateful for you. I'm grateful for your time, your energy, your artistry, and thanks to you and working with you, I'm going to be emceeing the Empower Conference in 2024.
Yes, you're gonna rock it.
And that's like one of my first paid gigs, and it's thanks to working with you that I was able to do it. And so, like, I accept that that affirmation and that manifestation that 2024 is going to be beautiful, and I know that it's going to be fruitful for you too. And we're already at an hour, and I'm late for my meeting with Lauren. She's watching right now, so sorry.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I can't wait. You guys be on the lookout. Put a little nugget in there. Like, you know, I'm executive producing Michigan Fashion Week 2024. So you guys gonna get like our amazing host on this show was our amazing host last year, including not just for the streetwear showcase, but also our red carpet. We have wonderful collaborations last year. And so I'm looking forward to next year. It's going to be glamorous. And so you guys get your tickets, follow me. I'm doing a little break still on social, but you know, you guys come out and you guys.
How can they find you? How can they get a hold of you when you're not on IG?
So you can email me. I'm young. I look young, but I'm old. Okay, you can email me.
Let it out. What's your email?
jb@yourjb.com, or honestly, my Instagram, which will be coming up back soon live, is theassistant.jb. Contact me on my website, yourjb.com. But you know, honestly, other than that, catch me in the wind, Mike. But I'm so nice, so you'll definitely be able to stop and talk to me and chat. And I look forward to connecting with everyone.
JB, thank you so much.
I'm
so grateful for you and your time, your energy, your artistry. Like I said, I'm so grateful that we met and we've been able to do some amazing projects together. Like, I'm excited for everything that's to come.
More to come.
More to come. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so, so much. This has been the Let's Glow Show. My name is Amanda Sweet. I'm your Creative Fairy Godmother, and we'll see you next week. Bye.